got to start off with some sad news, I'm afraid to say. A lot of you will be aware, because it has done the rounds on social media already, that Peach, who was a contributor to this channel, has sadly passed away. For those of you that don't know Peach, he was a bit of a force of nature, to be perfectly honest with you. He was based out in Canada. He originally was from the States. His story before that was of English heritage, so hence the reason he called himself Peach England. He would often, after a game, excitedly leave me a sort of 30-minute voice note, or a series of voice notes, which amounted to 30 minutes. Would often leave videos on this channel. Great guy, really nice guy. One of life's characters who didn't have an edge. There was no edge to him at all. He was just a really, really lovely guy. Any of you that knew him, and he knew lots of people, because he didn't just feature on this channel, featured on a lot of other channels, will have been very aware of his very long voice notes. At the end of this video, I'm going to share a voice note that he left me, which it was a private voice note, but there's nothing sort of private about it, and he really wouldn't have minded. It was the time I revealed during a video that my secret pleasure was a pot noodle sandwich, and the voice note is an excited Peach trying to find a British shop in Canada so as he could get so he could find a chicken and mushroom pot noodle to try and make himself a pot noodle sandwich. There's also some bits about Sam Allardyce in there, which is quite funny. It's basically 3 minutes of the Peach that you will all know and love. He really will be sadly missed. Massive character, lovely guy. It's just a shame I hadn't spoken to him in a month or something like that. And so anyway, obviously thoughts and condolences go out. It's not just to his family, certainly to his family, but he would have meant a lot to a lot of people in and around, the West Ham, whatever we call what we do, the West Ham media world, or whatever the case may be. Big character, meant a lot to a lot of people. God bless you, Peach. This video today is... it feels weird doing a video today, to be perfectly honest with you, off the back of it. And I nearly didn't do one, but I sort of had Peach ringing in my ear saying, no dog, do a dope video, dude. That's basically what he would have said to me. So I'm not sure it'll be a dope video, Peach, to be honest with you. Because I was a little bit miserable about the whole Jesse Lingard thing, and then this puts it right into perspective, doesn't it? But we carry on, because the club find themselves in a really interesting situation now, and I don't mean interesting in a good way. It's an interesting situation because I do believe there's a certain amount of leeway the club have had in terms of not making the Jesse Lingard transfer happen and making that stick. When I say a certain amount of leeway, in the main, I think it's fair to say, looking at the comments, 95% of the people don't blame the club. Don't blame. There's a little bit of David Moyes shouldn't have stuck around for so long chasing him, but in the main, it's pretty much a case of no. Let's not blame the club too much for this one. However, I do think that little bit of leeway, that little bit of tolerance won't last too long, because it does mean we need to get somebody else in. There's been a bit of a feature of our play in pre-season, which has been we've sort of struggled to score goals, really. Now, I don't feel that that's been prevalent over the last couple of seasons. I think we do score goals. I think it's letting them in where we have the problem. However, it's not just us lacking a striker. We also, I feel, lack a creativity aside from Jarrod Bowen, somebody that will regularly create goals for us. It's quite clear that David Moyes would have thought that the person to produce such things would have been Jesse Lingard. That hasn't happened now. And as I say, I think there's a level of understanding why we didn't get him, and we shouldn't have got him, and it lasted too long, and all that sort of stuff, which I don't want to go into. I covered it in the video last night. But I think we do have to get somebody in now. Now, looking at it, I'm not entirely sure it has to be a sort of central attacking midfielder or a number 10. But I do feel it needs to be an attacking midfielder. I mean, it could be a left winger. It could be that we go back and revisit Danjuma. I know there'll be a lot of people watching this now who think, well, why didn't we go and get Keane Lewis Potter? I think possibly the answer to that is twofold. As I understand it, Lewis Potter wanted guaranteed first-team football. But I also think at that time probably David Moyes thought he was going to get Lingard. And I know David Moyes thought he was going to get Lingard for a little bit too long. So anyway, the Lewis Potter ship has sailed on that one, but maybe it's another wide player. I know we've been linked with the Frankfurt lad this morning. I don't particularly want to go into that. I personally think his delivery is great. I keep going on about it. I think we need pace. So look, we'll dismiss that. I'm sure we'll cover it at some point if other deals emerge. But we have to get a deal done now because there's a certain melancholy around the club at the moment, and I do feel odd saying that, bearing in mind what I've just said about Peach. It is just football, and you know, someone's just lost their life, so it's not the be all and end all. That being said, I'll tell you now, Peach would have wanted to. I'll tell you right now, Peach would have wanted to sign a player. He was worried about it because I got voice notes telling me that. And I do think we need to pull our finger out now, because while I think there's a level of understanding why we didn't make the Lingard deal stick, I don't think there's going to be a massive amount of understanding if we don't get somebody in now. I've said before on previous videos, before this stuff happened, the club need a lift. The club needs, it's not just the club, us as fans, but also feel the players and the club need a lift now. We need to see a new face walking through the door. Boys and girls, mostly boys, to be honest, do you know what the premier male grooming tool is? Yes, it's the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. 5 things must you know of the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Number 1, it's got a torch. Number 2, it's waterproof. And the other 3 are that it's better than the 1.0, the 2.0 and the 3.0. This is the Manscaped 1.0. As you can see, there's been quite an improvement. This is waterproof. It's got a torch so you can see all your fancy bits. It's got wireless charging. It's a miracle. I don't know how it works, but best of all, you get 20% off if you click the link below and go onto the Manscaped website when you get to the checkout. And they do a lot of products, by the way. Ball deodorant. Whoever knew there was ball deodorant? Seriously, there's loads of things on there in the discount code section. Put Hammers Chat, all one word. So, if you want to have the smartest dickie in Billericay, get yourself over to the Manscaped website. I'd imagine there would have been a little bit, disappointment when Lingard got his injury, because I'm pretty sure not only did he come in and look like he was a good player, he was clearly a bubbly character around the dressing room as well, and I'm sure a lot of the team were looking forward to being in the team with him. It was a new injection of blood in the team. With him out, even more so, is a worry at the moment, for me at least, that the team for next season that we start against Man City is going to look very like the team that maybe finished up against Brighton, and that's just not going to cut it because everybody else is improving in those sort of terms. In the terms of lifting up the spirit of the team, this is something I've sort of accused David Moyes of before, which is I think he's very good tactically. I think he's a really good guy, but I do sometimes question not his man management in terms of motivating a player, but understanding maybe the vibe of somewhere. I said it probably in January last year. I felt there was a little change in Declan Rice's body language, and I just sort of said, well, look, here's a world-class player who's probably looking and thinking, come on, let's strengthen now, let's go for it, let's win this tournament in Europe, let's get Champions League. And I mentioned at the time, I did a video about the value of I've spoken about it since, of messaging, of actually that would bringing somebody in that window, just to say to Declan, say to the rest of the squad, look, this is it. I'm not just saying the words, let's go for Europe. Here's my intention. Actions speak louder than words, and here are my actions. Here's a new signing. And I feel we need that now. I feel that everybody needs a lift. I think the messaging is really, really important. And I don't want the messaging to be done in words. I want the messaging to be done in actions with a player coming in. Sometimes it's easy to forget that I think a Premier League football ground, a Premier League training ground is a place of work. And it's a place of work. It's where people are going in every day. And they're not just the players either. There's a lot of people who go to work at these places every day. I think it needs a lift. And you certainly get an uplift when a new talented player comes in and joins the squad. I really do. I think it changed the whole dynamic of the place, and everyone gets a little bit excited. Everyone's probably excited to see what he can do in training and excited to what he can offer to the team. And this is something that we do desperately need now. I mentioned about the attacking midfielder. and why possibly we might not need that. It looks like Souček's staying. I'll deal with that in more detail in another video. But if Souček is staying, then David Moyes does have a couple of options there. I mean, maybe it is time to deploy Souček a little bit further forward, give him his old role back, particularly if we've now got a defensive midfielder there in Flynn Downs. Maybe he is the attacking midfielder and we just go and try and cross the ball more or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's an option. If that is the option, then we still need, as I say, perhaps to that money then goes and the money that was going to go to Lingard, which was going to be significant. To be fair, as I say, we probably offered a £24 million package. Then that money goes, to maybe get a left winger in or something like that. Someone who's going to supply, just more attacking opportunities for the team. I do believe, in fact, I'll deal with Onana another time because I'm with Souček staying. I do think that changes the dynamic of that. But whatever it is, we need to now make the next couple of deals stick. I thought we had a slow start. Then we had sort of 3 deals that happened pretty quickly. We had Areola, Gerd, Flynn Downs. And now we've had this sort of situation where we've got a bit of a downer in terms of the Lingard debacle, saga, whatever you want to call it. But also the fact that the Broja deal is dragging. That to be said, to be fair, the Zuma deal dragged. I'm not sure how many comparisons I want to make, though, because there's a whole different set of people at Chelsea now. So it's hard to make the case that it's dragging for the same reasons. But my point is, in terms of West Ham's recruitment, it appears to have stalled somewhat, doesn't it? It appears that we're struggling a little bit. We're struggling to get deals over the line. And the blame game is in full force here. Because you've got to try and cut through some of the misinformation. I believe there's some misinformation out there at the moment, and that is that we didn't really push the boat out. We didn't offer Jesse Lingard enough money. I've seen the deal being broken down into signing on fees and whatnot. As I understand it, Jesse Lingard signed for 10 million for one season. It's basically that 10 million divvied up is 10.2 million, whatever it is 200 grand a week. Or it can be 100 grand a week and a 5 million signing on fee. Doesn't really matter. But I've seen it played out that Lingard's only getting £80,000 a week. But I also saw it spun yesterday that West Ham had offered 50 grand a week less than Nottingham Forest were offered. And that was coming from certainly one side of the equation. So if that's the truth, if both can't be true, otherwise it suggests we've offered Jesse Lingard £30,000 a week. Just ask yourself this. Do you think David Moyes was desperate to get Jesse Lingard? I think everybody answers yes, he was desperate, okay? So with that, do you think he's been too desperate? The answer is yes. Do you think it was probably David Moyes' number one target? Yeah, the answer is yes. Probably for too long, for 18 months. So ask yourself that. If David Moyes was so desperate to get him, would he really offer £30,000 a week for him? No. Would David Moyes have offered less than Areola's on for Jesse Lingard? No, of course he wouldn't. Jesse Lingard was offered a lot of money. All right, it's just he was offered more in terms of what he could earn in 1 year. Basically, as I believe it, he was offered 24 million over 3 years at West Ham. I offered 10 million for 1 year at Nottingham Forest. Jesse Lingard's probably looked at it for 10 million there, another 10 million there. Oh, do you know what? I can just look, we're going to have the saga again. My point is anyway. So I've gone on to Jesse Lingard again. I must stop. Point is, there's money there. All right, don't believe that there's no money for West Ham to invest. There is money for West Ham to invest. I think the point is we got to invest it because at the moment it looks like we ain't that slick. We went for a little part where it looked, Newman and Moyes are doing quite well, learning the trade, getting some deals over the line. Now it ain't looking too slick. Now we're looking at bids. And to be fair, it's not just rumours. We know we bid for Jesse Lingard. We know we bid for Broja. All the big outlets have suggested we bid for Scamacca. Now, I understand Frank McAvenny's come out in the last day or two. I don't mean Frank McAvenny's come out. What I mean is he has come out and said that in the last day or two that we haven't bid for Scamacca. Whether we did or whether we didn't, it's certainly been reported in the media that we have. So we know there was interest in the 3 players and we've not got any of them over the line. And that's not a good look. It's also not a good look for players coming in. Look, you all know what I think about this Jesse Lingard deal, okay? But from the outside, they don't care about all that stuff. If you're a player looking to join West Ham, you don't really understand the dynamic that Jesse Lingard was teasing us with tweets about chicken runs and crossed hammers, and you don't know the history of it. You don't know about all that stuff. You're just a player who doesn't understand the things that you and I might be annoyed about as West Ham fans. You're just looking at West Ham and you're seeing a club who have lost out of a high-profile player to basically a newly promoted club. And I think as a player, you might look and think, oh, hold on, that's a bit weird. That's going on there. I do wonder what Broja might think of that, for instance. Maybe, just maybe, part of the conversation when we're trying to recruit Broja, because I do believe Broja is on board to come to West Ham. I do believe Broja wants to come to West Ham. I do believe the problem lies with Chelsea. We'll never know, but that's my hunch on it, bearing in mind what I've heard. You don't know if what was said to him, we're bringing Jesse Lingard in. Maybe he's looking at it now thinking, hold on, you haven't brought Lingard in, and Nottingham Forest have got him. Basically, you could be forgiven for asking a question at the moment, are Nottingham Forest more ambitious than West Ham? I think that is a legitimate question. Now, that's easily put to bed. Really easy. We go and buy Anana for 40 million. We go and buy Scamacca for 35 million. That all goes away. Then the answer is no. West Ham are ambitious. Look at the money they're spending. We brought in, spent £30 million a centre back, so on and so forth. It's very easily rectified, but you do have to rectify it. And it just the whole strategy now seems a little bit clumsy because Lingard hasn't worked out, because Broja hasn't worked out. They need to make a couple of deals stick. Basically, it's very, very simple. We need a successful transfer deal. We really need to get that done. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to play you out now with the conversation. Well, it wasn't a conversation. It was a voice note left on my phone by Peach, and it's about pot noodles. I suggest you listen to it. It's very funny, and it's just the normal, usual scattergun message that I used to wake up and find on my phone, on my WhatsApp from Peach.
I keep my finger on the button, dog. It keeps going off. But no. I agree with what you said about Glenn Rogers still. I felt sorry for him too, I did, man. And Zola, Zola kept us up. Then he got the sack. And how many times did Keane have that managerial job for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 hours, straight up. And Sam Allardyce, dog, you know what I compare that to? It's if you ever watch, we used to call it WWF back in the day, Junkyard Dog, Jimmy Superfly Snooker, Hulk Hogan. It's what Sam Allardyce was doing was what Hulk Hogan used to do in the ring, cupping his ear like that, dog, straight up. And he's just arrogant. I don't like him. He's not for me, dog. But what you said at the end of the video, I am messing with that today, dog. I'm going down to the British shop. It's called British Grocers. My brethren runs it. He runs the whole thing. And they get everything in. Heinz beans, HP beans, All Walkers, Crisp, Monster Munch, all them things, dog. And the pot noodles. I'm grabbing a pot noodle and not putting too much liquid up in it, having some salt and pepper with it, and putting in that one slice of bread with the butter on it, having it. But what I need to know, dog, what flavor pot noodles? What flavor pot noodles? Get back to me. You could just text me. You could voice message me like I am you right now. Show me what flavor is the bomb by Z. And I'm going to run that today. That's my lunch. That is my lunch for today, dog. Straight up. I ain't even playing. Big yourself up. The video was dope. As always. How you mean? Yeah, and for green screen, I'm showing you, man. Go on the Hubble telescope, images and things. You'll get images of Mars, Jupiter, the cosmos, the everything, and it would be a nice live background, just getting away from because I know I done sent you 2 things, Upton Park and the statue and everything else, but everybody's probably sending you them things, dog. You done sent in a video before, so put some space shit up on that thing, man. Or Alaska. Alaska where it's all snowy, snow. Yo, straight up, man. Some CN Tower things, dog. Straight up. Yo, go wild with it, man. What else, man? Just some islands. Like, there's this one island. I forget what it's called. Oh, shit, man. She's emailing me again, dog. But there's this one island, Keiko, or I forget what it's called, but it's like, yo, just tropical islands. Like, yo, search some tropical islands and like put yourself up on a beach with like some nice crystal clear waters. Like, trust me, them things and some space things and yo, man, don't know. I big yourself up, man. The video today was dope. Straight up, real talk. It was banging. One love.